Okay, hi guys, this is Ray from nextforextrade.com. Today is August the 6th of 2019. It's a Tuesday, sorry, just distracted there. Couple of things to talk about today. Yesterday's trade on the Euro CAD, and also a new position that I opened on GBPNZD. So let's just kick off with a quick overview of yesterday's position I took on Euro CAD. Now, if we go to the account history here, we can see that this trade was a losing trade. There's a loss of just over 1%. And yeah, I mean, I'm I'm fine with the loss. Obviously, losses are a part of trading. Everything that I've done here is documented as well, so you can always look back and see how I decided to take the position. And really, as a trader, losses will happen. It's just you can only take the best decision that you can take at the time of looking at the market. So in this instance, what went? Let's break down how it played out. So obviously, I'd looked at the daily, and I'd seen that we'd seen as far as probably leave the link to the original videos in there. We'd seen about as far as that. So I'm gonna blow this up a bit so it's easier to see. So on the daily, this was roughly the story in terms of the right hand side of the page, if you like. So I had noticed that the price had made lower highs and lower lows, and that it was inside the standard deviation channel, giving signs that the price could be overbought. It also interacted with this previous area of resistance. So I had entered the trade with my stop loss above. I'm going to zoom in a bit more here. I had I'd entered the trade with a stop loss above these previous highs here, looking to short this on a one-to-one reward to risk. As we can see in yesterday's candle, so what happened is the price came out and I got stopped out, and ever since the price has continued to move upwards. Now, I'm not upset with it. As I said, I think I'd done my analysis as best to my ability. I did, if you look back at the videos, I did give a kind of concern to the way that this price on the hourly was kind of moving up at the time of entry. This line here represents my entry, the dotted line on the hourly here. So at the time of entry, I would have been able to see on the hourly, this was the information, right? All the other time frames are relatively congruent, showing that the price was moving down, but the hourly was showing signs of higher highs and higher lows. So that was something to be wary of, nothing to really not get into the trade. Could have had a more conservative trade if I'd waited for the price to break these previous lows, because I'm looking at this higher highs and higher lows. If the price on the hourly had broken these previous higher lows here to move down and then pull back, that would definitely have been a more conservative approach to the trade. So you could deem, because not all of the time frames were agreeing at the time of entry, the trade was slightly aggressive. But again, I was satisfied to risk at least 1% on the trade. It didn't turn out, and therefore I did incur a loss in this instance. So just set these back a bit. Perfect. So let's just have a look at this other trade now that I took. So this was on the this is a trade I've got in at the moment on the GBPNZD. You can see it's currently carrying a loss here of around £70. Just going to find this. Now, this was an interesting one. I did jump on and do another separate video on entry on this, because I'd entered the trade with too larger position. It's been a while since I have traded the GBPNZD, so I miscalculated the lot size, which meant that I was in the position 10 times greater than I wanted to be. So if you check out in the link to the video, I'll leave in the description, you'll see how I managed that. Basically, my entry was around here at this time here, and I wanted my stop loss above these previous lower highs. But basically, the size of the entry that I put in was I think it was about 1.54 for the lot size. It meant that with a stop loss above here, my potential risk was £2,000 rather than the 200 that I wanted. So it's kind of a bit of disaster management. You know, when that kind of thing happens, firstly, don't panic. You need to just act on the information that you see. Typically, that might be a case of closing out the position immediately. It might be adjusting how you trade the position, but the important thing is to, or you may be in a case where you leave the position in, depending on, you know, what it depends. It really does depend. But in this instance, the way that I managed this was to let's have a look here, to reduce the position size. So you can see here, so this order that went through here was basically me taking off some of that position because it was way too big. It was way too big, and the idea was to wait for it to come back to I was faced with the decision of it basically coming back to break even and getting out that way, which is, you know, that was the best case scenario from the bad situation. The other option was that I lost the whole 2% on a much smaller move, which was the price coming back to kind of test these highs here. So having entered, if the price had come back with my full, you know, oversized position above these previous lower highs, so this area here, then I would have exited at a full I would have exited at a full 2%. I'm taking £200 loss. Now it played out as I wanted, in that I did see the price reverse and start to move lower, and of course I took out some of the position there, and now my stop loss is how I would have entered it originally, so above these previous lower highs that we're seeing on all the different time frames here. So I'm happy with this trade in terms of the positioning. I do have a 2% on this as well rather than 1%, because I'm just happy with the way the price action has panned out. I mean, going over the rationale for entering this, basically the daily here, we're seeing that we had the price creating lower highs and lower lows. We had it inside the standard deviation channel as well. Had a toppy type candle here that interacted with previous resistance. So if we take this as a level, a zonal level, if you like, of where the high of yesterday's candle reached. Come on, reach this level, so we can see that zonally this is previous support here, probably goes back as well, but it just gives a decent reference points for a stop loss above that level. Going to the 4 hourly, same thing. The 4 hourly retrace, if you like, which would have been on a daily, broke through the standard deviation channel as well. So in this candle here, it started to break through, taking out these previous higher lows. Now this could still viably be a move upwards, a much deeper retrace, which I'm aware of, but in the coming hours, if we see it find resistance off of this this move here, this standard deviation average, that would be a good sign if it starts to fall away and make lower lows and lower highs from there. So it's looking okay, but it's too soon to say that we've got a definitive break of this price action and moves lower. Obviously, looking at the hourly, we can see that a bit more clearly. There's arguably some lower highs here and lower lows, but it's the same thing. It's finding resistance off of this standard deviations average, and it has broken it as well. So really what we want to see in the next few hours is for the price to start to move much lower and start approaching that take profit. So this now becomes kind of a pivotal area, these previous highs. We can see that also. Is there any resistance or support there? There's nothing major that it can really take as a reference point there, other than the standard deviation channel average. So yeah, it's basically just waiting to see that fall away, move lower. But I'll update in tomorrow's video as to how that one pans out. So overall, what does that put on a week? So this, obviously that was supposed to be break even, but it's, it was good enough to have given a little bit extra profit. So this puts me at about with this current, from this open position, it's about 1.5% down, or £150 down on the week, if you like. But the good thing is it's only Tuesday, so there is good potential to achieve the weekly objective and turn a profit on the week. There wasn't anything else. I'll have a quick sift through the market, see if there's anything else that pops out. Okay. Yeah, a lot of these pairs, what I've noticed is they're in an oversold territory at the moment, so they are looking ready for a retrace. So by the end of next week, possibly into next week, there should be some good potential for shorts if we start to see this pull back and show signs of reversal. But this pair here, no, this isn't tradable for me. No, too oversold, too oversold, too oversold, oversold. No. No, not tradable. In case you're not familiar with the way that I trade, I'm looking at the daily here for opportunities first of all. No. That was a Euro CAD, which we've already looked at. No, that's not tradable at the moment for me. No, signs of reversal here. Now, I'll just mention, if you are someone who does fading, or you're basically going against the trend, if you like, you're trading reversals off of the counter trend. What I would be, if I traded that way, what I'd be looking at here, for example, on this pair on a daily, first thing that pops out, we obviously got a bearish move here. It is, downtrending, lower lows, lower highs. But what you could be looking to trade this is the retrace, basically move upwards. So we've seen it come down, create a reversal candle here, and I'm just looking for some signs of how strong that reversal candle is in terms of that being a lower low. So we can see, if we were to connect these lows here, we'd see that would be a trend line, but it also fits within the standard deviation channel. I don't want to see that candle come off of previous support or resistance, which is why I trace this back. We can see at these levels here, there's quite zonal support that the price has found. So it's a good indication that as the price approaches this level again, it could have some difficulty moving much lower than it. And I would look for signs of trending upwards on the lower time frame. So not so much on the 4 hourly. The hourly is where's my standard deviation channel? There we go. So the hourly is kind of still within its standard deviation channel on that move, but definitely the 15-minute is starting to show signs of upwards movement. So these higher highs and higher lows as well that we see on the 15 and the 5 gives some early signs of potential deeper retrace. So the way you could play this, again, this isn't really the type of trade that I'd take, but you could, I mean, the ultimate place that you want to have your stop loss is below this low here, right? Yesterday's candle. So we'll use the 15-minute for this. So that low on the 15 on the daily, sorry, is this low here. So you do want to have your low, your stop underneath that low. So distance from there would be about 55 pips. So 1-to-1 take profit puts you around here if you were to enter at this price here. Yeah, I mean, looking at the moving average, not the moving average, sorry, the standard deviation average, we can see that the take profit would be, you know, around the average. It's also below this previous kind of lower low as well, right? Which could be a sign of resistance there. So taking take profit before that level would make sense. Or another way you could play it is just look for a stop under more recent price action and go for a closer take profit. So that would be about 25 pips with a stop loss underneath this previous higher low based on the 15-minute. And that would mean, what did I say, 20, just call that 22. That would mean a take profit around here. No, hang on. There we go, around here. Which when fading is probably a better idea, because the thing is, with if you're trading with the trend, it's easier to see what the upside is in terms of how far it can move. With a retrace, it's always kind of, when you're going counter trend, you're looking for it to pull back. It can always be tricky to really determine how much it's going to pull back. So you could play this with, if I were to trade this, I'd be thinking a lower risk, so maybe 0.5% to 1% in terms of risk, and go for this kind of stop here underneath. Maybe just clear these levels here as well. So stop loss underneath there with a 1-to-1 reward to risk could be a play that you do on that. But yeah, I prefer to save my money wherever possible to trade with the trend, and like the position I'm in now, even though it's going against me, I'm still happy with the setup that it gives and the potential reward as well. So Euro GBP, no, not going to trade that. Euro JBP. So I don't know what's wrong with me today. Been a late night. So Euro Yen, oversold too much, although there are some signs of reversal. No. Possibly tomorrow if we see a candle like we're seeing today and the price move past the low. Yeah, potential for shorts, but I'm already in a position. No. Already in this. No. Potential for shorts on this, but would want to see the lower lows and lower highs on the 4 hourly really before considering that. So no, no, no. I mean, potential for fades if you do that, and that's Bitcoin. So no, that's it for today. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow with an update on this trade here. You can find all kind of details for every trade taken in these videos in the link on the MyFX book, which I will leave in the description as well. Thanks for watching. Bye.